It was kind of surreal. Like, it was just, like, I actually felt like I was in the room that I was looking at.
Yeah.
It was quite fun.
I mean, it'd save having to go to, you know, a physiotherapy department if you could do it at home.
A good exercise like a physio exercise, so we can do properly. You know what I mean? I played home in this game, but that one is more like a good activity. You know what I mean?
We know that if someone enjoys something, then they're more likely to continue doing it and to do it for longer, which ties in really nicely with the physiotherapy, because we want people to enjoy doing their activity so that they can continue doing it.
My original thoughts were that this would be a piece of work that explores the acceptability and the feasibility of delivering this type of intervention in clinical care.
I'm very much a believer that actually if you do the best surgery in the world and you don't do appropriate rehab or don't do your rehab, you're not going to get any better. So if there are as many things like this that can engage people and get them excited about actually getting better, it's got to be a good thing.
From a patient's perspective, I find that a lot of them get frustrated because they do not necessarily see a rapid enough improvement and they feel they're stagnant in their rehabilitation. With gamification and technology like this, where you can quantify the incremental improvements as well as recording the incidences and the frequency of the exercises, both the patients and the doctors can track the improvement and tailor both the rehabilitation exercises as well as the treatment options in the future. So it may come to a point where once you reach a particular point, you say there's no further improvement, now is the time to undertake further surgery, or we may need to switch to a different rehab exercise to help improve that. What exercises will be useful to do for the patient? Not every patient is the same, and therefore not every exercise will be accepted or executed in the right manner by every patient.
We put together an idea of how we wanted it to, we wanted the project to do and what we wanted it to look like. So we decided to just focus on range of movement, because that is the principal thing that we would normally look at in physiotherapy to start off with, looking at slightly at people's posture as well, and how they're standing in recording their position within space, but then recording how the shoulder moves and how it tracked. So doing flexion, just forward straight up, abduction out to the side, and then internal and external rotation, just to show that we can follow the movement and that patients could copy what was being shown.
What the software can do in terms of picking up subtleties and differences in posture and positioning has improved a long way too. So it allows us to, or it allows patients to not do an exercise if they're doing it in a posture that is detrimental.
Physio is going to be beneficial for providing patients with external cues to do exercise. Probably be able to track the amount of exercise they do it. Biggest thing really though I reckon is distraction from pain, so people exercising in pain but then having distraction of being in an immersive world.
If there's some kind of story-based game or story-based activity, it might help with engaging the patients.
The different world, you weren't so much distracted with what's going on around you, you felt a bit more focused with the immersive world. You don't have to be English speaking to understand it. A lot of our population isn't, so it would be something that would be very easy to just show and do it, and it would be a novelty factor that would certainly increase adherence. Yeah. You could change the background, change the intensity, make sure they're doing the same thing but just in a different way so they don't realise they're doing the same thing if you want to do that, or you could try lots of variations of it.
I think there's a lot of application in hand therapy for patients that maybe haven't been using their hand as well as they would like in certain activities, or are struggling to do their exercises or use the hand due to pain or loss of function. It would be a good tool to kind of use as a biofeedback from, I think, the brain to the muscles or the affected arm, to the person is immersed in it, feeling as though their hand is moving and is functioning.
I think it's proven that this method of rehabilitation is acceptable to patients and clinicians, and actually of patients who don't necessarily speak English as their first language, which is really encouraging. But it's also provided proof that you can rehabilitate someone in many different ways, and this is a sort of another tool that physios can arm themselves with.
It's possible to create an immersive game environment which can teach patients or help patients to follow upper limb exercises, and that is enjoyable and can be understood quite easily by most people that have used it so far. It can help them to kind of have home exercise feedback, so if they're having any kind of problems or any questions about how much they should be doing or how they should be following the exercise, then I think it provides really useful feedback and practice. And then the other thing really is, on a sort of more scaled up version, I would hope that we could explore how it might be useful in something for neural tissue damage and mirror therapy, which is a therapy that maybe this type of technology could enhance.
I think it could be used in two ways. The first is in a group physiotherapy setting, almost having the software and the gamification of their exercise as its own station. The second way could be as a way of reinforcing their exercises. So after having a one-to-one session with a physio, doing these exercises in this way, I think would help them reinforce what they need to do when they go home.
I think it could be used for stroke rehab, for orthopaedic and trauma patients, really any patients looking to recover from an injury, patients who have pain, who need encouragement or distraction when they're exercising. So there really is a wide variety of different types of patients that could use it and could benefit from it, I think. But any kind of physiotherapy program where you're looking to improve their awareness, improve their sort of understanding and endurance of when they're doing their exercises, and really to sort of encourage them to adhere to exercise programs and be engaged.
Wonderful. I thought it was, I could see the great opportunities for use in rehab setting here in the service we work with. I work with people who've had hand trauma, who cut tendons or nerves or bones, and or sometimes people get extreme pain and they can't use their hands, so that could be one other way to enable them to get using again.
Physiotherapy is not the magic laying on hands. It's all about being given instruction and being able to follow that instruction, and the patient being able to do their homework. And what I generally find is that people will go and see a physiotherapist for maybe at best half an hour a week, 1 hour a week at best, and if they don't do the exercises that they've been educated to do in their own time in their own home, they are not going to get any better.
You're exercising without thinking you're exercising, so kind of you get tricked into, even though you know what's going on, you're quite happy to engage with the game